guys, we're in the heart of Sydney CBD, Central Business District, also known as City Centre for some people. This is Hyde Park, and this is Sydney Tower, also known as Centre Point, if you're old school from the 80s and 90s. And we'll be visiting across from there very soon. It's a very hot day in Sydney. This is St Mary's Cathedral, and I am heading to see some beautiful art, because that's what you get to do when you're not locked up in a cult. This is a beautiful walk up towards the Art Gallery of New South Wales in the heart of Sydney, and surrounded by parks, and thank God some shade because it's very hot. It's a beautiful Saturday afternoon, and see, I think that you kind of need to earn your way towards the Art Gallery of New South Wales. They make you do this little walk to get here, and they make it worthwhile because it's just really pretty and beautiful. It's serene, even though you're in the heart of the city centre, and that is something for the Art Gallery right in front. So yeah, they make you earn it, and you get rewarded for it. You get a pleasant walk, and when you get there, you get to see some cool art and have some fun interactions. Enjoy. It's Wedding Saturday. So the end of this road leads up to, it's called Mrs Quarry's Chair, which is I guess a point on Sydney Harbour that you get to overlook the harbour and Upper House and Harbour Bridge, and it's just glorious. So one of the best views, and they often have like open air cinemas and stuff out there. Actually, I've been to the opera. Instead of doing it indoors somewhere like the Sydney Opera House or the Sydney Company, they take them outdoors, and literally it's at Mrs Macquarie's Chair, and it's all set up, and you get to see it by watching over the water as well. So it's a pretty fun thing to do if you can make it. Here's the Art Gallery. Hi guys, we're at the Scientology building in the middle of Sydney. So this is also where like Sydney Harbour is. They have the beautiful harbour and Opera House and Harbour Bridge, and unfortunately we also have a Scientology building. So the head of the organisation is actually based out in Chatswood. So apparently that building is the largest Scientology building outside of the US, and it's also the headquarters for all of Asia Pacific, as well as Australia. And so this is another building here in the heart of Sydney City. So Scientology in Australia, their president is known as Vicky Dunstan. Vicky Dunstan, her daughter Scarlett Hannah has publicly spoken out against the church and her experiences and abuses that she went through. And quite sad, her father is Mark Hanna, who was a former director of public affairs. She has done various media, including interviews on very reputable news programs and other media. And we can see more about her story later. So yeah, here we are in the heart of the city, right across the road from Hyde Park, which is a beautiful park right in the city. And there's also this bus stop right across the road from the church, which is, well, it's not the church, but that's what they call it, which is kind of annoying. If you're just going about your day, trying to get home from work or from being out for the day, you got to stand at the bus stop and look at this building. Never seen anyone go in or out of it, by the way. So I've come here to take a look, capture it for all of you guys, because we know around the world there are many SPTV supporters speaking out about abuses. Looks like there's lots of construction stuff happening right out front of where the building is. Oh, there it is. Creepy cult building. Shout out to Pearl Snappy, Natalie Webster, all the protesters in LA and everywhere, and people speaking up in general who have never been in, and those who have suffered abuses and are speaking up. Let's talk about their. So, Scientology has a religious tax exemption in Australia. So I had a look at the definition of a religion. There was two, very briefly, don't quote me the exact wording on it, but one was that you believe in a supernatural something, a being, a something. And also that I believe the second criteria was that there was some sort of like doctrine or some sort of thing that you follow. So I have decided about 2 minutes ago that I believe in some sort of a supernatural something, and therefore I'm going to start my own religion. All my family and friends also are now abiding by the doctrine of this new religion. I'll give it a name later. And they're just going to follow it because, you know, they love me and they're just going to do what I say. That's how easy it is to get tax exemption in Australia. Now, of course, there might be some ways of getting that revoked, which we'll be looking into. I don't believe that a charity, for legal purposes, should be doing any criminal activity, financial fraud, child abuse, elder abuse, keeping people against their will, disconnecting families. I don't think there's any law against that, but it's pretty shit. Also about you should be providing services that and you know, funding and that sort of thing. Often charities will have grants where they offer financial grants to people, or you know, being able to supply food for people that need it and things like that. I haven't seen anything about Scientology doing those sort of things for the community as other charities do. And I also have seen the latest financial report from what they need to submit to the Charities Commission. So it'd be interesting to compare that to other non-profits and charities that receive tax exemption. And you know, I did notice there was something on there, a listing for other expenses, and I'm pretty sure it was something around the figure of $4 million. I'm like, what other expenses are there? There's no explanation of it. Or anti-psychiatry thing. Ugh, makes me so mad. So irresponsible. And that word has been used by a politician as well against that anti-psychiatry stuff. All right, let's dig deeper about the psychiatry stuff. Now, earlier I'd mentioned that the Asia Pacific and Australia headquarters is out at Chatswood in Sydney. That is where, a few years ago, I believe, now, I'm going to tell the story as I recall it. There might be, you know, exacting things that could differ. But I believe he was about 16 years old. This person was brought over with his mother into Australia from Taiwan. Some sort of trafficking. They get away with it because it's some sort of, you know, religious bullshit. But the thing is, the child was separated from his mother when they were out at Chatswood in Australia. And this child, I believe, from what I've read and seen, that he had conditions which should have been addressed. There was some cognitive, you know, developmental or neurodevelopmental conditions or mental health conditions as well. Wasn't properly being looked after as a 16-year-old should by their parent, because Scientology was stopping his parent from doing so. So he, after some issues, he, you know, was basically told to leave the building. This 16-year-old was sent away to fend for himself without knowing, you know, being in a foreign country, probably not speaking the language. That is abuse. A parent is responsible for their child. Scientology, you can't just chuck this child in the street and tell him he can't see his mother, which is what an incident occurred, and I believe that two of the Scientology security or whoever was sent out of the building to look after, to deal with the situation, was stabbed. One of them passed away. So now this poor child is a murderer. Well, that's my understanding of that situation and has been spoken about previously. And there's records about it, police records. So, so there you go. That's how you help children Scientology and you help the public. And this is happening in our doorstep. There's someone coming out of the building, guys. Just saw him walk down the stairs. Ugh. Creepy cult building. Look, there's someone cleaning up in there. This beautiful house. Oh. And there's shit cult building. Someone was cleaning up in there a minute ago.